We live. It's Cash Media. You already know what it is, man. Another NBA day, NBA playoffs. Knicks versus Pacers. Nuggets versus Minnesota. What's going on, man?
Yeah,
About to get into
Cash
it.
Media, man. What's up, y'all? Like, comment, subscribe, man. Y'all know the program already.
Yeah, of course. So, today we got Knicks and Pacers coming up. There were a lot of things that we're
Let's
talking
get it
about.
cracking on last night's games.
Hmm?
Let's get started on last night's
You
games.
want to talk about yesterday
Yeah,
first?
yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So, since you wanted to bring it up, what did you want to talk about?
Well, we could go with Dallas.
Mhm.
Well, let's start off with the first game.
Okay.
Cleveland.
Cleveland Celtics.
Yeah, Cleveland was able to
Pull one through.
Yeah, pull one through. Man, I was utterly surprised.
Mhm.
You know, they had to keep it interesting though. You know, this is the second round. It's time to ramp things up. You know, if you really want to make a title run. And Donovan Mitchell was Spider last night for sure. So, but you know, I didn't think the Celtics would go undefeated anyway on their way to the finals. You know, so a loss was expected. I still think they're going to win in 6. What say you? What you think about that?
So for one, I was wrong yesterday because remember I said they was gonna win. The Celtics was gonna win yesterday. I thought they were gonna sweep them based off that first game. It was like double. They were blowing them out like double digits in that first game. It was raining threes. But the difference in that game yesterday was the fact that they were limiting Celtics threes in yesterday compared to the last game. I think they made like 42 over 43s in that first game, but in the second game, this was a completely different story. Derek White, wasn't particularly on his game yesterday, and obviously, Donovan Mitchell is the one that stood out like a sore thumb in yesterday's game. Jason Tatum has been hitting the wall. He has his inconsistencies in the playoffs, but understandably so. And that kind of goes into what I was saying about his superstar status, right? It's kind of diminishing. No, not really, but honestly though, I wasn't surprised by yesterday though. I think Donovan Mitchell really did his thing. I mean, he showed out the way he's supposed to, right? Like when you're the leading player on your team, you're the star player of your team. You got to lead by example. You know what I mean? So Donovan Mitchell came from the Utah Jazz with expectations to be able to compete, for a championship and to be a title contender. Is that the case for Cleveland now? Most people will probably say no, but I mean, you still have to kind of give like that energy, that assertiveness to show that you want to win, you want to be able to compete, and you want to give the front office some confidence. But difference in this game is the fact that Cleveland was really knocking down a lot of their threes yesterday. Compared to the first game. So it was kind of switched around, with the scenario and how things were really going for them. But I thought it was an interesting win, especially since Jared Allen was hurt. He didn't play. So he's obviously a very important piece to Cavaliers' success, being the leading rebounder, I believe, on their team. And not to mention, he's a big part of the defensive anchor. And not to mention though, too, like Jared Allen's a little bit more offensively aggressive than Evan Mobley, right? Like Evan Mobley is very timid when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. A lot of the time, like he's it's almost like he's shy away from the rim. He doesn't want to like he doesn't want to be aggressive with his shots. And I understand the fact that he's a young player, but scenarios like that, especially when you're in this scenario too, like with Cleveland, right? Even though they're not expected to win, you still got to go down swing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to go into this
You have to
confidence, no matter if it's the first seed, second seed, third seed. You know what I'm saying? Especially you're going against the first seed. So Boston's obviously gonna try to come in thinking that they're the top. They're the top ish. But yesterday basically Celtics got punched in the mouth. But it was a large part of Donovan Mitchell leading the core, doing what he did previously, and then basically doing the same thing yesterday.
Good take. I agree, man. Well, as far as Evan Mobley, I think they just got to draw some plays for him. He does shy away from the moment, but I think it's just because he feels like they have a lot of offensive, like scoring power in their team.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of shies away from that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's a young guy. He needs some time to develop his offensive game for sure. Because defensively, he got it. But yeah, they definitely punched Celtics in the face, and I think Celtics gonna come back next game and do their thing. I think they're gonna punch him back, and punch him hard.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would hope so, though. You know, I think it's always more likely to fall down in that, like to fall in that scenario, right? Like we can always assume, but then again, we didn't expect Miami to damn near win 3 straight games, the first 3 games, you know, in the series last year against the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think it's full well on going to be the Celtics. I think it's really like the Celtics conference to lose, as I said before. But you know, it's still a learning experience for the Celtics in general. And then, not to mention, they still don't have Kristaps Porzingis. But it's just like, you know, with Cleveland, they're just playing for their pride, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like they're playing for their pride. And then at the end of the day, like with Donovan Mitchell, they have to see like what do they have here. You know what I'm saying? What can they put around these guys to so that they can compete? You know, with even the best of them. Like, and I think Cleveland has a lot of good pieces. So, yes, I think Cleveland Celtics is probably going to come out in the next game very fiery and with a lot of determination. But it's duly noted that it's going to be in Cleveland. And then, you know, Cleveland are also going to look at this opportunity and try to seize it to try to be up, you know, 2-1 and then hopefully be up 3-1 in these next 2 games. Now, is that likely to happen? Probably not. But can it happen? I mean, hey, we see
that's for Cleveland to decide, you know,
and Celtics too, low key,
and the Celtics,
and Jason Tatum's 3-point
especially Jason
Tatum. Nah, I feel you. So
one other game we had last night, we had OKC and Dallas.
Yeah, so OKC.
I think I expected too. Mm-hmm. I said that yesterday. I was like, if Luka shows up. Mm-hmm. They're gonna win. It's gonna be close, and they're gonna win. Yeah, you know, I feel like if Luka doesn't show up, it would have been a close game, and they would have lost. Like it would have been competitive. It would have been like the first game, but it went exactly how I thought. Yesterday, I was 2 for 2, man. I was 2 for 2, man. I'm killing it. Man, R&R reactions, man.
Nah, definitely. Hey, like and subscribe, man. Don't forget to do that. But yesterday it was definitely a different situation for Luka. We know he was going through some things with some injuries. We don't know exactly what's going on. I know it's like lower body injuries, like I think it was like ankle, knee. I mean, who knows at this point, right? Like people dealing with a whole bunch of ish when it comes to injuries in the playoffs. But I think it's also important to note that, you know, Kyrie Irving didn't play great yesterday neither. You know what I'm saying? So it was heavily dependent on Luka's performance throughout this game, right?
And someone else got 29 with him as well. I think someone else scored 29. PJ Washington, yeah.
PJ Washington put up 29 as well. And not to mention, you also, you know, Tim Hardaway came off the bench. He wasn't having a great playoffs neither, but then he came off the bench and started being efficient, being 6 for 10 from the floor, and then also, you know, making two threes also. So Luka dropped. He made a majority of his 3-point shots in the beginning of the first half, and then made a crucial 3 later in the game. But then Kyrie Irving only had 9 points in this game, right? So that's one of the most important things that the Thunder need to take away, though, too, is that they lost the game and Kyrie Irving didn't even have a great game. But how Kyrie Irving expanded his game and made sure that other people and other players can get involved, too. So even though Kyrie Irving had 9 points, he had 11 assists. You know what I'm saying? He had more assists than Luka in this situation. You know what I'm saying? Like Kyrie Irving, double-digit assists? No way. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Mavericks. How can I put this? I'll say this: OKC, the Thunder, even though we can't look over the fact that they're still a young team. You know what I'm saying? Like they've never been in this situation before. As opposed to the Mavericks, yes, Luka and Mavericks still have a lot more to prove moving forward. I think the test is only going to get harder from here on out. But they've been in a conference finals. You know what I'm saying? Luka has been in conference finals. Kyrie has been in the finals and won a finals and dropped a shot to win a finals. You know what I'm saying? So in this situation, right? Like you have a lot more veteran experience with the Mavericks as opposed to with the Thunder. Like they just have Shaw Gill, you know what I mean, who's really carrying a majority of the offensive load when it comes to star factor. But then you also have guys like Jalen Williams, who's coming up big in these games. Like during the last game, Jalen Williams wasn't playing particularly well throughout most of the game, but in the fourth quarter, he came up big.
And I would say he had a good defensive game too as well. Though he had like 2 blocks, 1 steal, so he's giving it to you. He was giving it to you on both ends of the field last night. And like I said yesterday, I feel like that inexperience that you just mentioned that OKC doesn't have is going to hurt them in the series against the Kyrie and Luka. Because they banged up and they're going to have those games. But if they could still figure out a way to win those games with Luka struggling, Kyrie struggling, and still find a way to win, then they're pretty much like they're gonna figure OKC out. They're gonna be able to dissect them as the series go on and as both coaches start to make adjustments. Like Dallas is gonna make the proper adjustments that OKC just won't be able to just respond to on the court. They might be able to make the rotations and certain substitutions and stuff like that and game plans, but as far as them executing it, that inexperience is going to help. And I feel like we would need a Herculean effort from SGA for them to, surpass Dallas in a series like this, like where roster to roster is pretty even. If you put both rosters next to each other, but like on paper, if you look at their resumes, it's completely different. You're looking at 2 completely different teams. So I just feel like in the end, OKC they're the number 1 seed. Like they were the best team all year outside in the West. So you got to give them their respect. So I want to say 7 games. I feel like like you said, Kyrie, clutch, Luka, Western Conference Finals. These guys been there and been in that moment, so they'll know how to handle that moment. Whereas I'm just not too confident in how OKC would react to that type of high intensity situation in a high intensity moment in the playoffs. When it was really wide open for everything, so I don't know how they react.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I mean, I feel like in this game, or at least in game 2, like, for OKC, the defense just wasn't the same as it was in game 1. You know what I mean? Like it just broke down. Like OKC or just Shaw Gill, like with Shaw Gill, right? Like when it comes to his individual defensive performance, like he's 8th in the league when it comes to his defensive rating and what he brings to the game. So he's bringing it on both sides of the ball. And OKC, like they're one of the best defensive teams out there, right? So like, they have guys who can defend at the perimeter. Chet Holmgren, even though he's not like your typical 5, like your 5, like he's not your typical 5, right? Like he looks more like a 4, even though he has the height of a true center. But I mean, he could still block shots, right? Like he could still defend the rim, and he's not afraid to challenge anybody at the paint. The only thing about it is just that depending on if they, what's going to happen with Daniel Gafford, because Daniel Gafford has been very pivotal when it comes to Dallas Mavericks and what they do defensively. Even though they lost that first game, OKC, for one, was behind on 3-pointers. They were behind, I believe, on rebounds also. But then Daniel Gafford was swatting like anything that was within his vicinity. Like you can see the assertiveness in him trying to basically, you know what I mean? Like just make a play on the defensive side of the ball. And I think everybody in their mama like has talked about the Dallas Maverick defense, Luka Doncic's defense. You know what I'm saying? So I think just in this game in general, it was just a completely different game. Like Dallas rebounded better. They shot better this game. You know what I'm saying? They defended better in this game. They got OKC to commit way more turnovers, right? Like, so it was basically the best outcome for the Mavericks.
Yeah.
But then, and obviously, like, Kyrie is not going to be scoring or going to be kept under 10 points in this game, in the next game. Like,
I think Kyrie having a big game one of these series, man. Like, cause he had an off game. They didn't lock Kyrie down. He had an off game. He didn't even shoot a lot.
Yeah,
he was just off. He was facilitating, getting everybody going, like you mentioned yesterday. He was starting to get everybody else going. So he didn't do what you wanted to do as far as getting aggressive early. But I feel like after a game like this, in Dallas too, because next game will be in Dallas.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the game he's gonna come out way more aggressive to start. Yeah. And Luka's it looks like he's kind of getting it, like in the playoffs, it's every other day, every 2 days, sometimes. So I guess he's starting to like feel a little better, or whatever lower extremity injury or he had. I guess he's starting to get ramped back up. So. Luka's not the most durable guy, but once he feels like he can play through the pain or play through that certain whatever injury he has, Luka can still get his numbers. So as long as Luka gets his numbers, which like the numbers he got last night, 29, 10, 7, in that 20, 10, 5 range, whatever, that's good. You know what I mean? That means he can still get the other guys in his team going. Now they got Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway is a problem. So I just feel like Dallas is going to win this series, man. I really do.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a tough one, though. I'm not going to hold you. I think
no. Dallas in 7. So that's Dallas in 7 is not tough. You know what I'm saying? So it could still go either way as well.
Yeah. No, I agree with you though. I think Dallas does. I think Dallas does take it away. But OKC, I mean, hey, bro, it's starting to look like they're the underdogs now at some point. So it's like they got to turn it up, bro. They got to flip a script. They got to do something on the road because, I mean, we know the scenario, bro. Like, you can't win. It's not a series until you get one on the road. So we'll see. Let's see how that goes down. But I think the next day that they play is on Saturdays. Yeah, so they play tomorrow. And then along with Boston and Cleveland. So we're going to see how that turns out for them. So we got the games going on today at 4, the Knicks and Pacers. So since we already talked about the previous one, Knicks and Pacers. Knicks are up 2-0, but everybody knows that they have a lot going on. They have like a lot of injuries that's kind of stifled them in a major way. I think the OG Anunoby injury, it's already come out that he has a left hamstring sprain, which basically said that he's not going to be playing today. He's going to be out for today's game. And then not to mention, too, that Jalen Brunson has had some lingering injuries also. But I think he's rather questionable, but I doubt that he's not going to play. But in some way, shape, or form, it could limit him. How do you think this series plays out with the Knicks with OG Anunoby being out at the least bit? But still,
do you know how long he will be out? Does it mention that? That's what I was looking for just now. I was trying to look into it, but
for OG,
yeah,
he's out. He's out
indefinitely for next game. But do you know how long? Does it say how long or
how long? Reading something now
because I was trying to figure out if they were going to get him for later on in the series.
Yeah,
that's what I was looking into right now while you were talking, but I really couldn't find it in a short time. So maybe they're still looking. Maybe it's just something that's still not clear yet. Because they say Jalen Brunson's playing.
Yeah, well, they say he's questionable, but more than likely he's playing. If he's questionable,
he's playing. I got that update just now. Yeah. He's playing for sure. He's playing for sure, and they said it's very unlikely that OG plays Game 4, but we'll find out more later on. But
usually in this situation, it's usually game by game basis.
Yeah, and then like I said before, man, like the Knicks are playing off of momentum right now.
Yeah,
they're playing off the high of the New Yorkers just boosting him on Instagram, and like you could tell, like you could feel the energy. Like I could feel it from all the way from Florida, and I'm pretty sure you could feel it from LA when you look in your phone, you see how hyped these New Yorkers are after every single win.
Yeah.
Like, are you seeing these videos? Like they're going crazy. I think the Knicks are riding that high. And if you really think about it, if you really go in depth, how banged up they are, losing Mitchell Robinson, losing OG, Jalen Brunson just basically playing on one leg. Everybody's just banged up. And on top of that, you have Josh Hart, who's averaging 46, 47 minutes a game for this playoff.
Yeah.
He played
Double
10
rebounds too.
He played 4 quarters straight.
Mm.
So that's like he's basically not sitting down. In all their games, he's playing all 48 minutes. You know what I'm saying? 10 quarters straight he played. That's like beyond me. So that doesn't lead to a healthy Josh Hart as we go further. You understand? Because he was doing that in the regular season as well. So I feel like Tyler Thibodeau has to go a little deeper into that in that depth a little bit. And I know it's risky because it's the playoffs, but you don't want to lose your guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they're up 2-0. And this game is very important. This game tonight is very, very quintessential and important. I mean, this next game. So I feel like they have to go a little deeper into their depth. They have to, because like you need bodies on the floor, and if you keep losing guys, you know, it's not going to get any easier. You know, so they don't have a healthy lead. If they win tonight, it's a healthy lead. It's actually going to be no way that Pacers could probably come back after that. So they have to win tonight. So Jalen Brunson has to do another, crazy effort, and somebody needs to step up, because without OG, Tyrese in the backcourt is going to have a hell of a time. I'll tell you that much, because OG is their like quintessential. That's their 3-and-D guy for sure. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I mean, it speaks for itself, bro. When he plays, they're 26-5. You know what I'm saying? Like the numbers don't lie, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then without him,
he's key to their success.
And then without him, they're 13-14 in the games that he missed. Right.
So 500 though. So that's 500. That's a little bit under.
That's under 500.
Yeah, that's one game under 500 is what I'm saying.
That's horrible. I'm saying 13 wins and 14 losses.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. Like, that's bad. But what I'm saying is, like, since they don't have OG, let's say that's what happens. They're under 500 for the next 3 games, right? That would mean if we're going off the regular season, they would lose 1. I mean, they would win 1 and lose 2. So they're up 2 right now. So that means it'll be 3-2. With OG possibly coming back up 3-2. I still feel confident in them in that case. You know what I'm saying? But it all depends on how many games he's out. If he's out for the rest of the series, then they might be effed out. You know what I'm saying? Give them a chance to. You don't want the Pacers to have that confidence.
Yeah.
So even if they win tonight, you want to come out game 4 super aggressive.
Yeah.
Because even if you lose, you want to still at least have them feel like, all right, this team's tough to beat no matter what. Yeah. You don't want them to come out and blow the Knicks out. If they blow the Knicks out tonight, they're going to have too much confidence going into game 4, and then it's going to be interesting, But I still want to stick to my pick, because I like sticking to my pick. I don't like, jumping ship. So I'm still going to stay with the Knicks, but it's very, 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 very hard for them to go through this series the way it's looking for them right now.
No, I agree. You know what? I'm gonna bring this up for you too, because I think this is also good to see. I'll show you right here. You see that?
Let me see if I can make it a little bigger.
It's the season averages. Hopefully the audience is able to see it.
Oh, did you zoom in or that's? Oh no, I zoomed in.
Let me see. Let me pop it up a bit more.
That's you that zoomed that? Hold on.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
So basically, like looking at these games, right? Like the Knicks these are season averages per game. So they've averaged less points while the Pacers average more points. Knicks are obviously great with rebounding. Pacers average more assists. No, they're about the same when it comes to steals, blocks. Knicks, turnovers. They're about the. I would say they're about the same in field goal percentages. Knicks are a better 3-point percentage team, and they're a better free throw team. But the thing about it is that I wanted to point out also averages and then something else. So obviously Jalen Brunson's averaging like freaking 36 points per game in a series. Tyrese Halliburton. I think a lot of people have highlighted, that Tyrese Halliburton should be scoring a lot more. But I don't think that's really like the focal point of his game. Like he's at the end of the day, I think he's at the base of his game. He's a facilitator. He's a floor general. He'll score when he can or if he wants to.
But it is, and you gotta understand how well he was playing. He got all NBA with how he was playing throughout the whole. You know what I'm saying? He got all star and everything. So that's what people expect now.
Yeah.
You think people are going to expect that in the playoffs. So that's his game necessarily, but if you're giving that to us for a large stint throughout the regular season, they're going to expect that in the playoffs, no matter what. So whatever he's averaging 20 points is not cutting it. I'm sorry, Pat, not for the playoffs. We need at least 25. No, we need at least 25 from him, and that's not asking for much. That's extra. You shoot a three, another layup. You know what I'm saying? That's like 4 or 5 attempts at least. You have to be more aggressive. Yeah. You have to, especially when you're the leader of the team. When they lose, you're going to get the blame because you're the star. So you have to be more aggressive. Jalen Brunson is super aggressive.
Yeah,
36 points. He's like, there should be no reason why you're less than 10 points of that.
Well, you know what though I think you're right, yeah. Because for one, duly noted, they did lose the first 2 games. You know what I'm saying? So, if he had scored maybe high, maybe 24, 25 points in some of these games, who's to say they could have take one of these games or take both of these games because they were up in both scenarios, in both games, right? Pacers offense is extremely dangerous, and duly noted, they're also one of the young teams that's up and coming and emerging, right? Like prior to them beating the Milwaukee Bucks, we remember how they played the Bucks during the season, during the in-season tournament, and just throughout the season in general, right? So they're one of those high-powered offense, right? They get guys involved. Everybody, they look great when they get guys involved. Tyree, they're knocking down their shots, and obviously getting Pascal Siakam was a huge addition to the team, also. But it's not world-changing, right? But it can put them in the best. It can put them in the room with the best of them, right? I think. The more this team starts to flourish and they have a lot more time to build a floor connection or a connection on the court, right, then they're just going to start to get better and better. So I do agree with you in that sense that Tyrese Halliburton does need to step up in his own way so that, it can take this team over the hump, because whatever Jalen Brunson is doing for his team, Tyrese Halliburton needs to do for the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we need to see out of Tyrese Halliburton, and I totally agree with you on that. Right. So, the things that we really got to look out for with this matchup, right? So we already kind of talked about OG Anunoby being out, Brunson questionable, but it's already come out that he's going to be playing today. But also because of the fact that OG Anunoby is going to be out, I think this is also good to highlight, what their roster looks like with certain personnels, right? So we already know their death lineup is with the Knicks is Brunson, DiVincenzo, Hart, and Hartenstein, right? So those are the 4 guys that they would normally have on the court for their depth lineup. And then they have Achua and McBride, either or as that 5th player. And then you can see here how many minutes they played, offensive rating, their defensive rating, and their net rating. So Achua and McBride, they have similar minutes played, but Achua has a lot more minutes played. But it's interesting to see that with McBride, right? Their offensive rating is 138 compared to playing with Achua is 119. But when they have Achua on the court, they're just a little bit better defensively on the floor than having McBride. But when McBride is on the court, their net rating is plus 31 compared to Achua's plus 6, right? So what do you take away from that?
Yeah, McBride, he's very that's what I mean by going into the depth. They need to do that because they need to figure out if they can get more from the other guys. Hartenstein, Precious Achua. You need those other guys to step up more. And what I'm thinking that, and that's the problem with Tibbs. I feel I have a real problem with the way he manages minutes. I still blame him for D Rose to this day. I feel he just he just overworks his starting five, you know, and he sticks to what he likes. So if he sees the rotation that he likes and a lineup that he likes, he's gonna stick to that lineup, and he's not really gonna mix and match it too much, you know. And that's what you use the regular season for, you know. Now the playoffs, yes, you make adjustments, but you still want to make an adjustment to something that you're familiar with, you know. So that's basically what I got on that.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, so can either team get consistent stops? I'm gonna just skim through this read right here. So the Knicks and Pacers have combined to score 128.7 points per 100 possessions over the first two games. What would the highest combined mark for a playoff series in the 28 years for which we have play-by-play data and likely NBA history? In that sense, it's more of a Pacers series than a Knicks series, but it's New York that have won both games. The Pacers, with their ball and player movement, have a tougher offense to guard, but the Knicks have Brunson, have shot better on open three-pointers, and have fewer defensive mistakes. They were also able to turn up on defense a bit in the second half of the game too, holding the Pacers to just 18 points on 23 possessions in the third quarter with just 2-point game with less than 6 minutes left, just 10 points on 10 possessions down the stretch. Defending at a high level will be a tougher for the Knicks in Indiana, and without Anunoby after his arrival in the regular season, they're allowing an amazing 13.4 more points per 100 possessions with him off the floor, 100.9 than they did with him on the floor, which is 114.3. But the Pacers can't just rely on their offense and will need to do better defensively than they've been through the first two games. They've ranked 24 defensively in the regular season and 132.1 points per game per 100 possessions. They've allowed over the two games is the worst two-game stretch of defense since mid-December, right? So, I mean, that's really important, though, right? So it's like, I mean, we already understand the situation with the Knicks and Anunoby, right? Like with Anunoby off the floor, like the Knicks are, I'll say this, a different defensive team when he's not there. Right. So, and then considering the fact that Pacers have one of the most high-powered, fast-paced offenses in the league, right? It's gonna be a tough game, right? Like it's going to be in Indiana. So if I'm Indiana, right, like you have to seize this opportunity. You have to look at this opportunity and say, you know what, their guys are hurt. We have to take this opportunity to take both of these games on the road so we can tie it up and then go back to New York. And then that's what Indiana is looking at right now. That's what they envision. So overall, bro, it's like the Knicks are in a very, very dangerous situation because of what they have going on. And just because you're up 2-0 in the series doesn't necessarily mean it's over. Right, like you could still be up 3-0 and it's still not over until you close it out, even though we always assume that it's going to be over. So, right, so this game is obviously big for both teams, right? But I would say it's definitely bigger for the Pacers because this is their series on the line right here.
Yeah, it is. Like it's definitely gonna be entertaining. Like I got my popcorn out. This is the semifinals. So. This is the conference semifinals, excuse me. So this is when things start to get interesting. First rounds are always decent, but this is when things really start to get interesting, you know? So this is when the upsets usually happen. You know, first round, of course, you'll get an upset like a AC being a 1 seed like Boston and or the Bucks and the Celtics or whatever, you know, stuff like that. That'll happen. But this is when matchups and everything matter. Like, like it's gonna be like I feel like we're gonna get two upsets, and I feel like the Pacers are gonna be one that's gonna probably upset the Knicks. The Knicks are my pick, remember, so it'll be an upset, and I have the Timberwolves to win, but I feel like everybody else's pick prior. That's gonna be the other upset because I feel like the Timberwolves are gonna beat them. Yeah, but we didn't even talk about the Timberwolves. That's actually what we got to get into.
I know that's the next one coming up. That's the next one. So I'm gonna pop that up right now. All right. So yeah. So we already know the biggest game of the day is Timberwolves and Nuggets. Man, Denver Nuggets are down.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm excited for this one.
Nah, I'm not gonna hold you though because I know this game has to be exciting. It has to because you know we already know that the Denver Nuggets are playing. They're playing for their pride. They're playing for their season. And then Jokic is playing for his MVP for the next 2 years. So, like, you already know how this goes. Like, especially with MVP, Like if he doesn't win next year, they're probably going to hold that to him, and then he's not going to win it next year. Like if he loses this series in a sweep, or just lose this series in general, he's not going to get MVP next year. Like you can count that in, but that's not the focal point of this conversation. The focal point right now is basically what's going to happen today, right? So I think the Denver Nuggets are going to come out and win this game, not because I think so. It's because they have to. They have to win this game. Like if they don't come out and win this game, right? It's all over. They're gonna be down 0-3. Now, but the important components that need to factor in is number one, right? Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has to do better in this game. Like Jamal Murray throughout the playoffs, even though he's had some highlights, some really great moments. Unfortunately, they were against the Lakers, right? But throughout really most of the playoffs, he hasn't really shot well percentage-wise, throughout a lot of these games, right? And we already know Jamal Murray has a history, he's injury-prone. He has a history of getting hurt. God forbid, we don't want nobody to get hurt, right? We want everybody to get involved so you can get scraped on the court, right? We want to see you sad. We want to see you beat up. We want to see you go through it on the court. You feel me? But duly noted, though, he's shooting 37.5% in the playoffs and 28% from three. You know what I'm saying? Like he's shooting 28% from three and 37% from the floor. Duly noted, though, Jamal Murray does have a calf injury. So in the past couple games, even going back into the Lakers series, that there were some questions about whether he was going to play or not. Obviously, he did play, but you can see that he's relatively limited in this situation, right? So, but this is a completely different scenario for the Nuggets, right? Like Jaden McDaniels is literally laughing at Jamal Murray as he's guarding him, like that last game. What I saw with the Timberwolves, like I'm not going to say I've never, but that was one of the best defense that I've seen in a long time when it comes to the Timberwolves. Like the Timberwolves were really putting on like a show defensively. Like if I was a coach, I would sit my team down and just watch the Timberwolves in that game 2 in that series and be like, this is how you stick defense. This is what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like the way they were able to rotate, get off, switch off their man. They understood their assignments. You know what I'm saying? They helped each other on defensive end. You know what I'm saying? And this was out their defensive player of the year, right? So, and then not to mention with Anthony Edwards, like they can't guard this guy, bro. Like whatever Aaron Gordon was doing in that last series against the Lakers, for some reason he's not doing that with Anthony Edwards. Like Anthony Edwards is literally
not 39 years old. That's why.
Huh?
Anthony is not 39. That's why.
If
LeBron was 25,
yeah,
he'll be shaking up Anthony Edwards, Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Like, and you can see it though too.
Anthony Edwards in that in Denver.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like, he's able to really virtually get to the rim whenever he wants to. Now, can he finish at the rim? I mean, it depends on the contest and how much they're really throwing, how many bodies they're throwing at him once he gets to the rim. But like he's clearly the focal point of this entire team. He's the driver, the Energizer Bunny. He's really driving this team. And then you can see the motivation that they have together, right? Like we're finally starting to see Cat emerge also, because we already know like Cat in the past has had some huge flops, I may say. Like he's flopped the bag a couple times in big playoff games. We're talking about getting fouled down, scoring basically like getting up 2 shots in a game. Like like as a big man, as a 7-foot big man, you gotta do better than that. Especially when you have the other guy you have this guy on the other side who's Nikola Jokic in the reigning 3-time MVP.
Yeah. And well, like to get back to the original sentiment when you first started, the Nuggets are going to show up because they have to, right? Mm-hmm. They have to show up. But let's not, like, I feel like you were diving real in depth into the Nuggets a lot. Mm-hmm. And you touched on the Timberwolves too, with Anthony Edwards and Cat, like you mentioned that. But with that being said, like, I feel like the Timberwolves smell blood. You know what I'm saying? I feel like their mouth is watering right now because, like you said, they have all the confidence in the world right now. They have all the momentum in the world right now. And guess what? On top of that, they not only stole home court advantage, they wrapped it up and took it home with them because they won both games at home. So they stealing home court is just winning one game.
Yeah.
They won 2 games away from home, right? So you take that into consideration when they have their 3rd game at home now. Now they're home.
Yep.
So they have the confidence in the world. So Denver has to show up. Denver has to step up.
Yeah.
But with Jamal Murray struggling the way he's doing, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. Now, I feel like they will win tonight. Like you said, they're the defending champs, 3-time MVP. Jamal Murray does show up in big moments, and this will be a big game. So there will be big moments in this game for him to, continue that that trend going for him. So they have to win. Like you said, have to win. Because if you don't, we all know it's over.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
If you don't win tonight, it's over. Nuggets, rug it, fug it, mug it, shrug it. Nuggets, it's over. Triples and 4 after that. It's like they're just gonna pack it up, and then Nikola Jokic is just gonna start his trip to
Jamal Murray gonna throw a second ice pack.
He's gonna be pissed. And I like their energy, I like their motivation, and I know this is a team, so they're gonna come out. And I feel like they're not like the Lakers. They're gonna play dirty if they have to.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like they'll play dirty if they have to. No, the Nuggets. They'll do whatever it takes. They're gonna claw their way in to try and get this victory today.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah.
They know it's on the line. You know what I mean? They've been there before. They made it to the championship. They've been down 3-1. So they face adversity. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been. So they're gonna fight.
Yeah.
But all I'm gonna say is they better not fold. Okay, we'll be hearing from me personally.
Yeah.
I'll be calling his phone. He'll be like, who is this calling my phone? Accent for me, right? And I'm here now.
Nah, he's gonna be live for that one. But honestly, I want to have a live reaction of us watching this game as it happens. Because low key, it shouldn't, but this is the most exciting series, even though the Nuggets are down. Like,
why shouldn't it be? This is the defending champs. I feel like any series you have the defending champions should be one of the most interesting series out of like the remaining, series out there. Especially if the defending champs are going up against a team that's not well matched against them, because it really shows your chops. When it's a bad matchup for you. Yeah. Because with the Lakers, they had all the confidence in the world, all the toughness, all the they were running.
It was laughing it up.
Yeah, they were laughing it up. They was enjoying
getting all these shots, bro. Yeah. MPJ getting 20.
Exactly. People don't forget
50% from 3.
Same energy now. Same energy, bro. And don't be a sore loser throwing heat pads and possibly getting people injured and getting fined. Because Adam Silver gave him a break.
Yeah, he did.
He gave him a break.
Yeah.
He didn't suspend him because he knew if he would have suspended him, game over.
Yeah.
For sure. They're not winning without him. You get what I'm saying? So Adam Silver in the NBA they helped Denver because they knew it would cost them the series no matter what. The NBA, they know it's a good playoffs, everything's entertaining. They want to keep that way. So all they did was fine him. They fined him excessively. They gave him a good fine, $100,000. That's a lot of money for just throwing something in the court. But they nonetheless, I'm pretty sure he would have took that $100,000 over getting suspended. Mm-hmm. And if the decision was up to him.
No, that's a fact. But just imagine though, like, and I'm speaking hypotheticals here, right? Like, what if the Nuggets were to come back, in this scenario from being down 0-2? Like,
I mean, it's possible.
No, I know. Yeah, I know.
It's not. If they lose tonight, it's over. But if they win tonight, it's very possible. And I know Nuggets fans feel like they're gonna win still, probably in 6.
Yeah.
And we've seen Cat fold before, so I wouldn't be surprised if Cat folds or injuries can happen and anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's 100% possible.
Yeah.
But all of that comes down to this game tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything comes down to this game.
Yeah.
If they don't win this game, there's no coming back.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
No, you're right. You're right. And I think a key thing about, tonight's game is that I think Jokic in particular is going to have to come out very aggressive from start to finish. Like the Nuggets can't open up games like they previously did, which is what they've done throughout this entire playoffs, right? Like they've opened up every game starting out slow, right? And then you're starting to see that when you do that against a great team like the Timberwolves, that's been number one in defense throughout the season, number one in defense in the playoffs, number one in defense in the, you know what I'm saying, in the second half of the season. So this is not a team where you can give that sort of leeway, because once they're up, right, they're going to keep pulling the trigger, right? Like you're not going to be like the Lakers, missing shots, flopping the lead. Like they're a way better defensive team. Like they have three guys who can legitimately guard at the perimeter. Now, obviously, I don't think it's going to be it's not going to get easier because Rudy Gobert is going to come back, right? So it's just going to make it a bit tougher for Jokic now. But then again, you still got to come out with that attitude and essentially punch him right in the mouth, right? Like Jokic is going to have to be the one to set the tone for this game from start to finish. And we know that's always been the case. We know that's the case in every other scenario.
He's going to have a monster game.
Yeah. I hope so.
But I feel like that's just gonna be a fact. That's just a given. It's Joker. Joker. He's a walking triple double, bro.
I mean, but who knows though?
Because him is still 15, 10, and 10.
But you know what? Who knows though? Because Jokic still gets his numbers, right? But he can have some inefficient games. They don't happen often.
That's what I mean. He could be inefficient, but it's still gonna be. He still have the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's up to him to have an efficient game. He needs to have an efficient game. Yeah. And if it isn't inefficient, it has to be one of those highly inefficient games where he's just like has to do everything, So he's 12 of 42, but he still has 30 points, 25 rebounds, and like 15 assists or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna have to do everything. And I'm not gonna lie, he's gonna have to play some defense of his own, bro. Mm-hmm. They're gonna have to try some new things. Maybe he has to be a little more aggressive in the paint, stopping Anthony Edwards, bro. Mm-hmm. I see plenty of time Anthony Edwards going right through him.
But using that slow Euro. But the thing about it is, I think in that situation, in that sense, it really comes down to the Nuggets teammates. In that sense, because like they're throwing so many bodies at Jokic, bro. And this is what I brought up to AK.
Both their stars, like
and this is what I throw into AK though too, like earlier in the year, right, or a couple months in the beginning of the season. The fact that the reason why Timberwolves are such a struggle for them, not only because that they played them, right, but because they have so much versatility and depth in their front court, right? Like they're not just throwing Rudy, Cat, like they're throwing Naz Reid, they're throwing Kyle Anderson in there. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not guarding him for most of the time, but we've seen instances where Naz Reid has stopped him 2 times in front of the rim. You know what I'm saying? Cat Williams, right? Carl Anthony Towns. Carl Anthony Towns, right? Like he can stretch the floor and even open up space and try and get basically open up the paint for anybody else when it comes to the Timberwolves. When it comes to the paint, I kind of mix that up. So, the thing about it is it's like they're making Jokic work on both ends of the floor. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even just the offense; it's the defense though too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're throwing so many different bodies. So that's why I say with the Nuggets, like they have to get like other guys are gonna have to get involved. MPJ didn't shoot particularly well in the last game, so. Remember, like the situation, what killed the Lakers was they were leaving MPJ open in a lot of instances. So when MPJ is not getting those threes, usually when people are trying to guard, double Jokic and then leaving MPJ open, you're not getting those scenarios anymore because they can guard man to man with the Timberwolves. You know what I'm saying? So like MPJ's not getting those open shots. KCP's not getting those open shots. Jamal Murray. He's open, but he's breaking them. Nah, okay. But he hasn't been shooting particularly well neither. So those guys are going to have to start opening up some looks, figuring out how to get their shots, get to their spots so that they can get their shots, and then that's going to create a better outcome for the team. But we're gonna see. So it's not really on Jokic like because obviously he's the focal point of it, but it's gonna fall on Jamal, MPJ, KCP, and Aaron Gordon. Typically, everybody else except for the star.
Bro. I like that.
So that's it right there. So today I got New York winning today. Got New York winning, bro.
Me too.
I feel like I'm going to see something special from Jalen Brunson, but who knows? Who knows
tonight with Denver and give it to me, man.
Honestly, bro.
Told me.
I think even though I think I said what I said, I think Timberwolves win this game though. I know it sounds like I'm flip flopping.
No.
I think they are.
I agree. No.
Yeah.
Like no. How like you see how you reacted to that, and you see how that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Now I stick to my picks like that. That's how I am. So I'm gonna stick to my pick regardless. I said, Nuggets in 6 games. I gotta stick to that.
Yeah.
You know? So if that has to happen, them winning tonight definitely helps my case. You know what I'm saying? So I could see them winning tonight, and then the Nuggets not going out without a fight and still bringing in 2 more. But I agree. I think the Timberwolves. I feel the Nuggets will win tonight because they need to. Yeah. But I think the Timberwolves will win tonight. You know what I'm saying? And just like I think the Knicks will win tonight, but I feel the Pacers will win tonight. You understand? If that makes sense.
No, I totally understand.
My conscience and then my basketball mind is 2 different things. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
and then here's why I struggled. Here's why I struggled with Nuggets winning today is because of how they lost in those first 2 games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like how they lost at home in those first 2 games. You know what I'm saying? Like
without Rudy.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you
everything against the Timberwolves and they came out on top.
Yeah.
Dominantly. You know, the second game was a little more closer. In the first game they fought and came back as well. They started real slow. It was nasty like the first quarter. It was like 23 to like 9 or something like that. Yeah. Crazy number. But then they came back to the lead and it was a close game. But they're getting dominated. They're fighting back and they're clawing back, but they're getting dominated though. You could tell like they're struggling against this team. Like it's a very they are the Lakers and the Timberwolves are the Nuggets right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They have to figure it out. There's no excuse. You're the champion. You're the defending champion. There's no excuse. Figure it out. Because if you guys get swept next season, nobody's gonna think about you guys. You know what I'm trying to say? Like they're gonna have to kind of like go in under the rug like how they've been doing, like when they won the chip. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't. Nobody's gonna fear them or nothing. Everybody's gonna take a blueprint off of whoever wins. So if the Celtics win, a lot of teams are gonna go wing crazy. If the Thunder win, a lot of teams are just gonna blow it up and just draft, right?
Yeah.
If the Knicks win, nobody's gonna care. It's the Knicks, right? Besides New York, only New York is gonna care. If it's the same thing as the Thunder, and if Timberwolves win, I feel like every team's gonna go big. It's gonna go back to traditional basketball to where, you need bigs. You know what I'm saying? So, and if the Nuggets win, then they're gonna be 2 times champs, and the conversation changes in basketball. Joker's in the conversation is all-time big. Jamal Murray got to be in conversation in certain conversations, superstar status, and the coach, the Nuggets, everything has to start. We have to start opening the dynasty door conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like the possible, will they be a dynasty? Can they three-peat? This and that. This isn't the best duo since Shaq and Kobe. You know what I'm trying to say? Like this is when the whole if they two-peat, find a way to win today and two-peat.
Yeah.
They get my respect officially.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like them.
Yeah.
They get my respect. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't respect them, bro. I don't like Jamal Murray. I don't like the coach. I like Joker. I do like Joker. Because I can really just about business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Joker is a likable person. He is a likable person. I'm not going to
doing his job. You can tell he's just literally doing his job.
Yeah.
Not complaining. Not doing this. And then there was one thing that made me like Joker when he went against the Lakers. Like when it was like close, when it was a close game and he got the rebound, he's literally like telling everybody, run down. Like he's like literally everything to that team. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like he's like coach on the court. Like
he's
for him to be that size and from not even like really from that culture, really like they don't like. And I don't want to. Basketball's everywhere. It's global. It's worldwide. But that's not a place that you consider a basketball place. For him to be from there and just to be so dominant, so skilled, so he's like a fucking Russian assassin that's in the NBA. It's like we let it that in the NBA.
Hey, he's Serbian.
And I hate to disrespect, but that's just what I mean. He's just like we just let Rambo into the NBA.
Yeah,
and, run wild.
He's a Slavic LeBron.
Like he like
his IQ is up there though.
My dream team, bro, will be a Luka and Joker 1-2 punch, bro. Oh my god. In New York.
You said Lou Dort?
No, hell no. No, Lou Dort will be a team though. It'll be Luka and Joker as my 1-2 punch. I'll have Lou Dort. I'll have Jonathan Isaac. I'll have my boy McGee. I'll have
Brian Scalabrine.
I'll bring J.R. Smith. I like J.R. Smith. And I have Rondo as my coach, man. That'll be my diet. And it will be in the Knicks. That'll be my own time, like right now.
Hey man, hey, if y'all tuning in, hey, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to Cash Media, and also R&R Lavish. Is that the name?
Yeah, R&R Reactions. I'm thinking of some names, guys. Like I'm thinking of like, just rebranding myself. I'm just trying to figure everything out, but right now it's R&R Lavish Reactions. No, actually, excuse me. Right now it's R&R Reactions, but we'll figure it out. It's R&R Reactions on YouTube right now. Like, comment, subscribe, man. But it's Cash Media today, and we doing our thing, man.
I got you, man. Hey, so thank y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all have a good one. Hey, we're gonna see tonight's games. We're gonna see it. Rev it up. Cash Media. Back at it again.